It is ridiculous to believe that we are the result of the Big Bang. No. Result implies that we are a culmination and that we are other. We're neither of those things. We are only the result of the Big Bang in the most limited, literal, and ephemeral sense. Because very soon, relatively speaking, we're gonna be gone and something else will be the result. The universe banged into existence and we're part of that ride. We are the Big Bang. We're not separate. That would literally make no sense. What could we be other than the universe? When a hippie says I am the universe, they are not being mystical. They're not being new age or ethereal in any sense. It's a basic plain fact, almost mundane. We are the universe. In the same way that a wave is the ocean. Alan Watts pointed that one out. And this is fucking cool because the universe banged into existence and it's still banging. You're the universe fucking banging. You're banging. I've literally never used that word in that sense except to make my kids roll their eyes, but I stand by it. You're banging. Good work. People are like, if you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be? I'm always stymied. My wife, my kids, unless they have other plans which they're more excited about, and Josh. Not because I'm overly sentimental about these characters. I'm not. Well, I am sometimes, but not when I answer this question. It's just that they've adapted to me, and I've adapted to them. We know how to talk to each other. It's not that my life is so amazing that I don't want to meet any new, incredible people, but I imagine having to sit down with Jesus or Bob Dylan or Alan Watts. What are we going to talk about? Without knowing me at all, or having any specific interest in me, you have deeply affected my psyche in ways that I cannot fully explain. Do you want an appetizer? Deviled eggs? Do you like deviled eggs? I like deviled eggs with a little bacon on there. I don't know why they only send out 3 halves though. That's dumb. Should we get deviled eggs? Let's get deviled eggs. I've said deviled eggs too much. Shit. No. None of that. I'm sticking with the people I know. Sorry, Bob Dylan. I just can't. I'm busy that night. Anyway, how would you answer the question? If you could have deviled eggs with anyone. If you're feeling kind of shit about your life for whatever reason, try this thought experiment from Alan Watts. And every night when you go to sleep, you dream a complete life, and it's any life you want. You get to be your own genie. Make all your wishes come true. Every positive emotion, every pleasurable sensation, you provide them for yourself. And then you get to do it again, the next night, forever. After a few nights of this, you'd say, well, that's cool, but let's mix it up a bit. Let's sprinkle in some risk, some potential trouble, just to keep things interesting. You would intentionally let go of some of your control. Because after so many nights of all your dreams coming true, the only way to continue to feel is to not necessarily know what's going to happen next. As your nights of dreaming progress, you'd become more and more adventurous, take bigger and bigger risks, and then eventually, here's the fun part, you would choose to dream the life you're living now. Is this silly? Yeah, kinda. Is it interesting? Yeah, kinda. I mean, has anyone else ever suggested to you that you pretend your life is a lucid dream that you specifically chose to experience because everything else over the previous millennia has gotten fucking boring? Me neither. Let's give it a shot and see what happens.
You get a chance to talk to God, you're allowed one question. Just go with me on this, it's going to take a direction you don't expect. I think I would get stymied in the moment and probably say, what the fuck, as I looked around me, and then that would count as my question and I'd be out of luck. But Alan Watts suggests that the question to ask is, what question should I ask? It's like in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We have the answer, but what's the fucking question? And then Watts suggests that the way God would answer is like, why do you want to have a question? It's because you'd feel like something was wrong if you didn't have one. If we did not have questions, we would have a problem with the absence of questions. Problems go away, and the new problem is an absence of problems. So that's how I'm going to look at my difficulties today. If it weren't these, it'd be some others. Now, some are better than others. There's no question. But a problem-free philosophy, it's meaningless. This is why it's so interesting and important to me personally to address my problems by thinking about them differently. I don't necessarily need them to go away. Hope some of them do. But if I can think about them from a fresh perspective, they stay, but they don't fuck me up. Hey, if you like reframing stuff instead of actually fixing anything, come along. I got more.
Here are 2 things I tell myself when I'm feeling uninspired creatively, which I am right now. If that's you too, try these ideas on. Maybe they'll fit. 1, I know tricks just like you do to regain inspiration, read a book, go on a walk. Some people ingest substances to change their state of mind. All of this can help, but none of it's as fundamental as just accepting that you're uninspired. Let it be okay. Alan Watts said when you're perfectly free to feel stuck or unstuck, then you're not stuck. This means that the best way to get inspired is first, be uninspired. Fantastic, we're halfway there. And second, don't worry about it. If being stuck is okay with you, you're not stuck. So now we have a new problem. Instead of chasing inspiration, we have to stop worrying about it. That feels impossible. So here's the second thing I remind myself. The universe operates in ups and downs, waves. We often interpret these as good or bad, but it's just the neutral pulse of existence. Apply that to creativity. If we're gonna have times of inspiration, we have to have times without it. It's gotta ebb if it's gonna flow. But that's good. It means it's coming. It's always coming. It's not so bad being uninspired when you realize you're just in the trough of the next wave of creativity. Hell, when you think of it like that, it's almost exciting. If you've ever quit a religion, did you become something else? Because you don't have to. I didn't always realize this. I grew up fundamentalist Christian, and for years as I was quitting, I asked myself, what am I now instead? Am I a mainline Christian? Am I a progressive Christian? Am I, horror of horrors, an atheist? I didn't want to land anywhere. And then my curiosity and my reading expanded. I resonated with Camus and the tension he famously noted. Does that mean I'm an absurdist? I couldn't stop underlining Seneca or Marcus Aurelius. Does that mean I'm a stoic? If so, I'm not a very good one. And then along came Alan Watts. Fuck me, am I supposed to incorporate Eastern philosophy too? Who has time for this? So I read the Tao Te Ching, and that made so little sense I knew it must be true. Does that mean I'm a Taoist? What's the difference between that and Zen? How does a Westerner become a Buddhist? What does become a Buddhist even mean? I don't know any of this. I don't know enough to be anything. And that was my breakthrough. I don't have to know enough to be anything, because I don't have to be anything. I don't have to say what I am. I can be nothing. I'm nothing. I was at Costco buying a bunch of tampons for a feminine hygiene donation drive that my wife is running, and I was thinking about the idea, don't bring us a problem without a solution. My errand and my train of thought are unrelated as far as I know. I guess everything is related, but no correlation. It's just what I was thinking about in Costco. Don't bring a problem without a solution. You may have heard that or something like it at work. I think it's pretty well understood that that's bullshit, but why? At best, it means please stop complaining and help. But the way that it plays out is shut up, don't bring up problems. And yet we do want people to solve things, don't we? How about no? Alan Watts has a fantastic quote that relates to this. At least I think it's a quote. I wrote it down. Maybe I wrote it down word for word. Maybe I didn't. Anyways, he says, it's much better to destroy someone's beliefs than give them new ones. Don't bring a problem if you're not going to bring a solution. No. Destroy. Bring all the problems in the world. Fuck a solution. How do we even know we need a solution until we find out the problem? It's much better to destroy someone's beliefs than give them new ones.
I exist. Huh. I wonder why.
Pause. Let me suggest a big question to ask before any other big question like that. We all wonder, what does it all mean? Who am I?
Why is anything?
Or if you're Camus, should I kill him? Oop, never mind, not gonna get into that. If you're Alan Watts, though, you come at it from a different direction. He proposed a fundamental question that to my mind is the perfect place to start. Is it serious? It's a fantastically insightful question because baked into those three simple words is the implication that we can ask our big questions with different attitudes and get different answers. The frame of mind you're in when you ask, does it all matter, for instance, affects everything. Is it serious? Does it even matter if it matters? Is reality by its nature heavy and dour and dangerous? Or is there freedom to see things in a more playful light? If so, we can ask our big questions like they're not that big. Like we're just figuring out the rules for the game of existence. With that mindset, we can breathe easier and approach issues that could cause existential despair instead with openness and curiosity. Excitement even.
I got trolled this morning. I was reading Alan Watts, and he was talking about how our brains are most in their element when they're just allowed to see rather than being forced to think. And he used this jumble of letters to prove his point. Relax your mind and let your brain see what it sees. I stare at it, and nothing comes to mind. I see the word capital in there. I'm lazy. I'm just gonna let him tell me the answer. But the answer is not in the next paragraph. Oh, there's a footnote. Look at that. He's just not gonna tell us.
If you don't succeed within 1 minute, read on. Otherwise, you'll begin to be annoyed, either with yourself or with me.
Well, I can't move on, Mr. Watts. So I write down his letter cell. If you haven't figured it out yet, and you want to, now's the time to pause the video. All right, here's my train of thought. CO is a normal set of letters to start a word with. Let's also add MP. Lots of words start with comp. And then maybe AT? I don't know. And that leaves LICED. Compet-liced. Well, that didn't work. But wait, then I got it. Just like Watts said I would if I let my brain see instead of trying to force it. Complicated. So here's the question. Did I actually figure anything out? No, I didn't. You cannot fully accomplish any kind of mental work just by thinking. You have to also get lucky.
The final step when you're thinking through something is always a leap. And that last leap will always be a burst of insight that you're not in charge of. But here's the good news. We don't get to choose when, how, and where to have breakthroughs, but we do get to choose how often we give ourselves a chance to have breakthroughs. We can give our instinctive brain, the part of us that we don't control, that is in charge of our insights, we can give that part of ourselves opportunity after opportunity after opportunity by simply looking at things differently. So for instance, I was never going to see the word complicated the way that Alan Watts had it spelled out. So what did I do? I wrote them down myself, started listing them in different orders until it happened.
Did I do it?
Yeah, but not on purpose.
The only thing that I did on purpose was to make it more likely to happen by chance.
Here's the summary of all this.
You cannot solve problems only by thinking.
All you can do is put yourself in the path of solutions and then wait.